everyone, it's Alex Nottingham, founder of All Street Home Academy, and I have with me Robyn Reis, our VP of Coaching. And many of you probably already know this, but she is an HR specialist, and she oversees our hiring department, and which is booked with people, and it's very interesting. Even in this what's happening now, we're still seeing people that are requesting they need help to find people. Nevertheless, today what I like to talk to you about is, and I haven't settled on a title, something about training virtually or you're closed, now what? So we're seeing that across the US and in the world, that schools are closing, dental offices are being advised to close, maybe be available for emergency care. And so the question is, and for me is what do you do? I like action steps. We're a practice management training company. And so, and I get very antsy, like, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? But, about it, what's the next step? And things are changing. So when I was in law school, we learned it's really important to separate issues, because if you look at this whole scenario, you get really overwhelmed because there's so many issues. And where do I go? And I see so many forums and topics, and they're all over the place, which is fine. But I think we have to just analyze one thing at a time. My uncle always taught me the same thing. He's a doctor, one thing at a time. And so there are issues like cash flow in general, and we've talked about it and we'll continue to talk about it, what you can do. There are the health issues about the virus. So that's CDC, ADA, governing bodies, all that. Political issues and stimulus issues, those you have to be mindful of what's coming out. But what I want to talk about today, and I believe also is appropriate because this is what we do best, is what do you do with your downtime? How can you utilize it effectively? Because look, we're in a crummy situation. But then a part of me would say, okay, yeah, now what? It's like you get hit, got to get back up. Okay. I suppose all of our grandmas have told us, when life gives you lemons, what do you make, Robyn?
You make lemonade.
You make lemonade. Even if you don't like lemonade, you still make some lemonade.
Or you make a lemon drop martini. Either one.
There you go. Then you make it a lot of fun that way. So, what are we going to do with this downtime? Are we going to be watching Netflix, or is our team going to be watching Netflix or whatever it is and binging? And that might be fine for a moment, but is this productive? And not just that, but I wanted to add in my notes as well, it just occurred to me that it's also, we want to make sure we take care of ourselves for mental stability. I was just talking to a client the other day, and he's like, I'm so happy to talk to you. I love the coaching because I need something to do. And it's important. Work gives us a sense of identity, a sense of focus. It keeps us off CNN, and hearing all the terrible news, which it is terrible, but what can we do when we are quarantined or whatever the situation might be? So that's important. Why training is so important now, because some work, it gives a sense of direction, because this could be a couple months.
Well, and two, Alex, I think work gives us a sense of purpose.
I like that.
And I heard on a forum about, truly now is the time we can focus on every morning we wake up, who can we be of service today? Some days it's going to be, how can I service myself? Because I am overwhelmed with everything that's going on and all the information that's coming at us. How can I be of service to my community? How can I be of service to my team, my patients? There's a lot of practices that are still holding team huddles in the morning just to stay connected, especially in a time where we don't know some of those answers. So good point about paying attention to what's right in front of you right now.
Yes, I like the word purpose. That was it. That was the word. It gives us some purpose, and a lot of us need that. The other thing is, what's going to happen when we come back? What practice will we have? our team, where were they be? How we handle it as the dentists and leaders, how we handle our team, the team, and we work together, that it's not adversarial, but we're in this together. I heard from, I think it was one of our doctors was saying, like, it's kind of like we have this candy bar, this chocolate bar, and we just don't eat the whole bar, we share it. And what are our skills going to be when we return? So I would set the goal that when we come back to work, for many of the offices, that we're better trained, on day one, we're coming in and we're enthusiastic. And I think Robyn's kind of getting a little ahead of it. Yes, which is true, which is part of the curriculum, which is doing those huddles and doing that communication. So my question to you, Robyn, is, and this is the crux of it, is how do we do it? How do we legally and financially do it whereby we can utilize virtual training? And I think there are two parts we talked about. One is something like an Ulster Dental Academy or CE, online training like AACD and others have, that you're learning clinical, or for in our case, practice management and those phone skills and those stuff like that. That aspect, as well as logging in remotely to your office and looking at where patients are, scheduling, things like that. So I wanted to see if you can comment about the different things that we can do, and also legally how that's going to work.
Absolutely. And again, like you said, HR is one of my passions. So what is currently in place from a legal standpoint, and what most practices have already been doing, it falls under what is called a different capacity work rate. And what that means is it is defined as attending meetings, seminars, training programs, workshops, whether in person or online virtually, when you are not performing your normal work duties. And that's why it's called a different capacity work rate, because you're still learning, you're still training, which is going to apply to your position to enhance your skills, enhance your knowledge. But legally, a practice, an employer can pay their team members a different capacity work rate for that attendance, for that learning time. And what better time now, when we're all taken away from our normal work environment, having these amazing resources available to us. You mentioned AACD, of course, All-Star Dental Academy, these online resources that people can log in and at their own pace learn and become better, so that when we do all come back and open our doors and kind of quote unquote get back to normal, your team members can be better prepared, have more knowledge, really sharpen their skills, learn new things that they can then be of service to their patients. So from a compensation standpoint, let's say a hygienist who is typically a higher paid producer, for her or him to watch a class for a couple of hours, you can pay them a different way because they're not performing their normal hygiene duties. Same thing with a clinical assistant, even a front office assistant, administrator, practice manager, etc. That rate can be different because they're not performing their normal work duties. So that answers the question about compensation.
Yeah. And so what I'm hearing is that you can pay one wage, and I'm assuming it has to be the same across the board for your practice, for anyone who's doing non-specific of their role. They're learning. Now, if it were, let's say, clinical, and they're learning clinical, is that still the same rate?
Well, it does not have to be the same across the board.
It doesn't be.
So
Okay, got it.
there's really several ways that a lot of practices handle this. It could be a flat fee across, a flat rate across the board.
Okay.
It could be a percentage of what their normal wage is. The only caveat, again, is that it has to be at minimum wage or higher.
Okay.
It cannot dip below minimum wage.
Okay, that's very, very helpful. Okay, so that speaks to, and that's a big one, because again, it's kind of hard to, we want to be mindful of cash flow for the dentists.
Absolutely.
And that they're like, look, I want to make an investment, but I got to see what I can afford. And then the other, on the other side, if they are doing something, so if you're doing a huddle and they're talking about clinical, then that would be their standard rate.
Not necessarily. Again,
Okay,
it's
that
a
would be
meeting
different.
time.
Meeting
It's a
time.
training time. It
Okay,
is not performing productive work.
I see.
Okay, so it is pertaining to their job, so it does meet the criteria, but it isn't being productive in the sense of they're
Okay,
not doing their normal job
so if
duties.
you're not helping prepping a tooth or you're not doing a cleaning, you're not getting paid that rate.
Correct.
Okay, got it. Now, if you're a front office person, an administrator, and you are calling a patient or you are logging in remotely using LogMeIn or some other VPN or remote desktop software, and you're doing doing insurance, whatever, that's going to be paid at administrative rate, correct? Because
Their
they're performing
normal
their job.
wage, because that
Gotcha.
does fall, it's how what you just described, checking the schedule, reaching out to patients, you know, doing cleanup on insurance and following up on claims that might still be outstanding. Those types of things would fall under the job description for a normal administrative person at the front desk. So even though they're physically not in the office, they're still performing their normal work duties. So the normal wage would apply in that situation.
Got it. And if you are a clinical personnel and you are doing front office work, then you'd be paid at that rate, correct?
You could be paid at the different capacity work
To
rate,
different rate
correct?
pass.
If
Okay,
it's right, because they're not performing their normal productive duties.
got it. And that helps because typically clinical personnel are paid more, and it would be more expensive to bring them into doing any sort of training. So what's nice about this is that a dentist could more easily afford to train their team. Now, virtually and during this time. Now, the other question is, so I hear a lot of dentists are choosing to um, uh, either pay their team for a week or two or utilize some vacation benefits or things like that. I don't want to get too much in the weeds with that. Um, but if I guess as you get past a certain period, um, the doctor either has to cut hours or have the employee take advantage of unemployment or governmental benefits. So how can a dentist, if they get to that point, either lower hours legally or have their team take advantage of governmental benefits and still have them do this or have them still train? How can that all work, that situation? What are some scenarios there?
So great questions, and you're right. This is on the brink of getting into the weeds.
Yeah.
But everybody's going to have to make decisions based on their own situation, their
Right.
own financial health. There are practices that immediately had to close. They just simply didn't have the funds available to continue. And now with this federal stimulus package on the brink of also being approved and what that will mean over the next couple of days, we're going to interpret that and find out how it does impact small business. That you have to really be careful about following what the directives are. And so for those practices that are shut down, this is an ideal way to still engage with your team virtually, keeping everybody safe, of course, and figuring out as a team, coming together, how could they kind of spread out their fund of compensation. The idea that, this may extend beyond 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe 6 or 8. Again, we don't know. These are uncertain times. This is brand new to all of us, so we're kind of figuring it out all together. But from a legal standpoint, the idea still applies and the law still apply, that for team members or employees who are performing any type of work duty, they need to be compensated. The question then becomes is, how do you separate what is their normal compensation and what's their different capacity work rate? So to kind of plan ahead, have those conversations with your team members. Let them know that, you're paying attention, you're going to do what is right and legal. And whether or not they use PTO or vacation, again, it all depends on the financial situation of the practice and how long they can do that. Because it's a discretionary benefit, there is an approval process. So they could deny and say, hey, listen, there's 10 of us. For us to kind of maintain some level of income for everyone, everybody can't cash out their vacation right now.
So a
So
doctor is not compelled to do that.
correct.
Okay.
They can say, no, I'm just not in a position right now. And I would like to think that everybody, can appeal to their own humanity of, let's make sure we're taking care of each other through this, very uncertain time. So those funds, yes, the team member's not going to lose their PTO or their vacation that they've earned. It's still banked there, but the practice may not be in a position to pay it out, so they don't have to. And again, referring to the stimulus package and all the details and how it's going to apply to small businesses, we, again, still don't know the actual final. There's a lot of information out there about what the bill that passed through the House and the Senate just recently. And now it's in front of the president to sign off on. It still could change. We don't know, but there, is some hope. And there is some possibility that it will benefit the small business as far as a tax credit. But again, filing for unemployment, I think, is the number one course of action for most small businesses that had to lay off employees. And depending on your state, a lot of them are relaxing their waiting periods and other restrictions for, this is a forced layoff. So it's out of everybody's hand, the employer and the employee. So unemployment is really the resource that people should turn to. And your state is going to have certain criteria and information that you're going to fill out. And from what I've read and understand so far, and again, that's the asterisk. So far, it may change. That a lot of questions around, well, is the employer premium for insurance going to go up, and all this? The answer is no, that we know of, and what I've been told that for unemployment, of course, all your employees are going to apply, including yourself, the owner dentist. That no, the insurance premiums will not go through the roof for the future because of all the claims that are submitted. So even though a lot of the waiting periods are being relaxed, understand they are, 10, 100 times more processing claims than they would typically. So there's a good chance that it may be a couple of weeks before you get your first unemployment check. But again, offsetting, here's a great way online, virtually, a couple of hours, the week, each day, whatever your team decides. This is one way to offset some of that unemployment.
So I guess kind of logistically, let's put myself in the position of the dentist here, is certainly there are two spectrums. There's, oh no, everybody's off, gone, go,
Right.
and that may be where one is, but I would hope it would be done a little more tactfully. And there's the other, like, martyr dentists, I'm going to take care of you as long as, and they're going there. And I know a lot of dentists they're going to their bank accounts, and they're, and some can afford it. And then there's kind of the middle way, which is like, here's what I have, here's what we can do. But it looks like if you're going past a couple weeks, in most scenarios, there needs to be there's likely to be some government assistance will help. And if you look at it like that, it's government assistance, not, unemployment. That's kind of scary. You're unemployed.
Right.
But if I'm talking to my team, like, look, we're a team, because this is the end game. This is what I'm thinking as a business person, right? Is at the end game, we're going to be as good, maybe, as a team, or better when we come out. The patients is a whole situation. The economy, we're going to be in a recession. We're in a recession. That's a different scenario. And actually, I have material I'm already working on for the recession to help all of you when we get back. But we're not there yet, so we're not going to discuss that. But when we get back, the team is intact, because gosh, I mean, this is why Robyn's always filled for hiring programs, because people keep losing team members even before the situation. And this is an opportunity. We want to keep them together because they want to feel like you got their back. That's really important. So let's say we want to take advantage of government support of assistance, and unemployment, whatever the name, is one method. Some of these SBA loans and whatever other methods to get some cash. So can we double dip? Meaning, can my employees, so I'm a dentist, can they take advantage of government assistance, the unemployment, and can I pay them for two activities? One for virtual training, and also for my team to do some productive work, administrative work, calling patients, organizing, whatever other things it can do. Can I do both or all three with an employee, and how?
Yes, you can. And I'm sure the government would probably appreciate the fact that you're not all 100% applying for unemployment. And so I like your idea of saying it's government assistance. And that's really, everybody's been paying, a finite, a little piece each time, each payroll into this fund. And so that fund is there for these types of situations. So yes, you can apply, and you're going to call in your hours each week with unemployment, so that you're able to say, okay, I typically work a 32-hour work week. And this week I did 5 hours of virtual online training. And I went into the office 1 hour because I helped with an emergency patient. So that's 6 hours.
Okay.
So the rest, so 32 is my normal work week. I subtract 6 because those are hours that I have documented as being compensated for. And then the balance is what I would apply to unemployment for to make up that difference. Now, keep in mind, it's not going to be 100% or make whole your paycheck, because unemployment is a percentage, and
Right.
there is a cap per week. So if you can offset and supplement that, absolutely. I believe the government offices are actually encouraging that. And let's say
Got
with
it.
that scenario, maybe your doctor allowed you to even take, an 8-hour PTO day. So then you would subtract 8, 6 and 8 is 14. So you subtract that from 32. And then, you would submit that to unemployment. But maybe next week you don't have any work hours. So then you would submit the full 32. So that's how it would work.
I love it, Robyn. I mean, I'm hearing you, and like, breath of fresh air. I mean, this is what we need. This is why I was so excited to speak to you today. I'm getting this out to everybody I can, because this is hope, right? And the you see there's something we can do. So it's not like, oh my God, I have to bear the entire load, or I have to just let them go. We are getting government assistance, both of us, right? The dentist and the team member. And we're gonna have a plan, right? I love a plan. You and I both. We love checklists with a plan. What are we doing? And so Robyn has the best agendas. Oh my goodness, beautiful. It's like I put it on my wall. It's so pretty, her agendas. So we have a plan step by step. So again, this is the key point I wanted her to explain, that there is a way where we're using government assistance, and we can help to pay for some productive work, whether you're coming in for an office for an emergency, or if there's some work, or two things, or some work that can be done with your practice management software, calling patients, and also virtual training. So that's awesome. And so that was what I want to demonstrate, is there is a way you can do it following the instruction we're talking about. And then what you're doing is you're going to allocate some time. You can do it either throughout the day. I like consistency. So I would have my team doing a little bit every day of online training. When I'm students that are listening, I would be doing 30 minutes to an hour of online training of All-Star. I would do some, and we're going to give more guidance specifically to the students that are listening in our own private groups. But I'm going to recommend some time for the actual coursework. And we also have over 100 hours of additional webinars that I want to be listened. There's good time. There's your CE opportunities. You're working on that. There'll be a time for productive work. There'll be time for huddles and conference calls every day. And Robyn and I believe together that it's going to be somewhere between 2 to 4 hours. Somewhere between there. Could be, I don't know if it would go much more than 4. It could be even a little less. But we're actually together, Robyn and I are formulating a training protocol that we will be releasing to the students, and giving you guidance every week of going. Now, obviously, All Star has a protocol built in for training, but we're adding to not just the practice management training, but as well as productive things that you can do and should be doing.
And
I
Alex,
also,
isn't it
yes.
true that a lot of our clients who signed up say we just don't have the time for training?
Stop
And
reading my notes. Well, and yeah, I mean, even our all-star students sometimes like, when do I have time? But they make the time. I give you a lot of credit. Those busy offices, they block the schedule and make the time. But there's so many people, and that's why I'm seeing a surge in people signing up for All-Star, because they're saying, now I have the time, because they've been saying I've never, had the time to do it. You're absolutely right. One of the biggest hurdles to training is I never had the time to train. So now, listen, you have too much time to train, and so you're right. There's an opportunity, and that's the thing I'm trying to really get to all of you, is you want to take advantage of what's in front of you. This is an opportunity. My dad, Dennis, I was playing golf with him the other day. I don't know if we're allowed to play golf anymore, but he said to me, tell your dentist, he's so cute. He says, tell them that problems are opportunities, and it's like, yeah, they are. This is a big problem. We can use it as an opportunity. And we can get a lot of training done, not just, and like I said, with the training, as we always recommend, I have action plans to teach you how to do it in the program, but, and for students, rewatch the action plan again, keep reminding, but it's not just doing the material. And Rob and I really believe, do those conference calls to support what you're learning, to make sure you're together, that togetherness, that it's like a group. It's like a therapy. Robyn, you were saying this is like therapy. The training is therapy. Talking to your team and your staff is therapy. This is every day our ritual is going to work. If we can, doctors listening, if you can make it a way, even if it's an hour a day with your team, whatever, in terms of giving them time to train, giving even a few minutes a day of talking, it creates that ritual. They feel connected.
connected. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
that
sure.
purpose.
And the same thing with online training is online, the virtual coaching. I mean, that's what All Star is
Yes.
about. Our coaching team has been nonstop talking with a lot of their practices in our All Star community about these exact things. And all of us on the coaching team are coming together to really put together a framework that people can use. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And doctors right now might be thinking, well, oh my gosh, like you said earlier, Alex, there's all this stuff we should be doing
Right.
and can be doing and can I be doing? And so, putting our collective wisdom together, we're going to outline it and give it to them again in very customizable pieces that they can do. And I love the idea of just, 15, 30 minutes of, Zoom calling or
Yep.
Skyping or FaceTiming with your team to just, hey, how's it going? How much toilet paper do you have?
Yeah,
I
something,
mean,
exactly.
just
There's
keeping
always there's
connected.
exactly, even if it's not directly business, just keeping
Of
connected.
course not.
There's some people would say, so the stock market, for example, it's a great opportunity to buy. Even though it goes up and there, it's undervalued, it will go back. The same situation is here. A lot of people, so if I give the analogy, the worst thing to do is to sell your stock right now, because you want to
Right.
keep it, it'll
Stay the
go back.
course.
Stay the course. But with your team, people will tend to panic and say, cancel everything, cancel training, cancel coaching, cancel this. Not, and it's like, you're missing, you're doing the absolutely wrong thing. Cancel my employees, everything. Okay, wait, but instead, really, now's the time to invest in your employees, to invest in yourself, to invest in coaching. We have online training packages that are like it's like $5 a day to train your team. It's so inexpensive. And our coaching packages are very, very affordable. You're like $20 a day. Yeah, I'm gonna say, but I'm saying it is not a lot of money to work with a coach or to do the virtual training. It really isn't. And if you look at it like, listen, let's say I'm getting SBA loan. Let's say I'm getting, I have some reserves. budget time, say, I'm going to budget, several thousand, a couple $1,000s or whatever for training my team, for online training, for maybe even coaching. Coaching's a great time now because, again, there's time. There's time that you can work with my team. And what message does that send? When you're a leader, you say, guess what? I'm not selling. I'm buying. I'm buying you. All of you, I'm buying you. I'm bringing coaches. Okay, yes, the government's going to help us. Take the assistance. I'm getting unemployment. The dentist, listen, if I'm getting loans, and I'm getting unemployment too. Team members, tell them. So are you. We're all getting unemployment. But I'm also making investments in myself and in the business. Now's the time to be bold. And imagine what that shows your team. One dentist was commenting. I did this video I posted, doing really great on YouTube. And what I said is, smooth seas never made a skilled sailor. I never said that, Batman, or somebody else said that. But
Yes.
Smooth seas never made a skilled sailor. So these are the times when so many dentists say to me, I want to be a better business person. I want to be a better leader. Oh, and by the way, in our All-Star program, I have a 30-hour MBA training program. Okay. That's a great time to be doing your business training, the MBA. And they always want to be better leaders. This is what makes a great leader. It's not when things are easy, when you get tons of cash. It's when things are tough. You see what you're made of.
Absolutely. And the
You're
team is
forged.
looking to you, dentists, to really, step up and show that leadership. It's a great time to shine.
So let me kind of end with a few call to actions. And Robyn, just spectacular. I could talk to you for 3 hours, but this is what I need is I need clarity, simple. Here's what it is. And of course, if you have any questions, let us know. But here it is. So what are the next action steps? Okay, we're going to do. All right. So here, let me speak to non-students and then students. So non-students, okay. As I mentioned, we got a bunch of people signing up. We can handle the capacity. We can handle the capacity for online signups. We cannot handle the capacity for coaching. Our HR department's already full. I already had more requests coming in. They want to hire people. If you want coaching, reach out. Heather can talk to you about that. We have some great packages. Happy to share with you. I think that would be a good investment for a couple months. But our coaching is still at we're about 80% capacity. We can still take a few, but that's going to be online, no issue. But it's interesting. It's like I said, it seems counterintuitive that I'm going to make investments now. Well, it seems counterintuitive to buy when things are going down. No, actually, this is what leaders do. This is how all the great billionaires got very wealthy. They bought when people were panicking. You invest in your team because your team, your office is a business. So many people say to me, so many dentists, my dad included, has lost millions in the stock market, millions in real estate. And I said, Dad, invest in your practice. And that's how we built this practice very large. But this is investment in your business. Your business is a stock. It makes you money. That's your number one source. Invest in that, everybody. Okay? So it's not counterintuitive to be training now. As Robyn said, she took my thunder, which she's absolutely right. We've heard it and she's heard it. We're too busy to train. Now you're not. Now's the time to train. I would encourage you, go to the All-Star website, allstardentalacademy.com. We've done a really great way of displaying all of our programs. You can reach out, speak with Heather. You can also, we have some detailed brochures we can share with you with pricing. We are 100% virtual company. So we're operational. We're here to support you, work with your team. No better time to work with a coach, have that time. Here are some free resources. Constantly check our website. We're always adding new things. But I want to give you 2 things to be doing now. Absolutely, if you haven't. Go to allstardentalacademy.com, yes, but then you do a little backslash and you can add webinar after the backslash, and you're going to get a wonderful webinar that I'm always doing, that gives you some great training material that you can use right away with your team for free, or you can sign up for the program and you get a lot more, of course. And there's also allstardentalacademy.com/book, and you can get in a detailed ebook format as well. Those are some great resources. Now, All-Star students that are listening, Robyn and I, and we're also going to be doing a podcast, I think today, with our coaches. They're going to be giving some insight as well. We are going to be releasing a training protocol in addition to the online training, which already has a protocol. We want to give it even more, exactly what you should be doing week by week in terms of optimize your office. Okay. Keep training. As I said, I see an uptick. You guys are doing it. Keep training your team. We gave you guidelines how to do it. There is a way that you can train your team little by little every day. There's a way you can use government assistance and stay afloat. Okay. So, Robyn, that's my kind of call to action. Okay. Are there any other things you want to add to that?
No, you said it beautifully.
Okay. All right. So until next time, go out there and be
An all-star.
Bye.